Hello everyone, it is I, Nate Jackson, the Criterion guy. I don't know, maybe I'll call myself that from now on, the Criterion guy. And this is the big one, or not a big one, but a movie actually. Stupid supplement cool videos. This is entry number 5, the 400 blows, or les, crap, I'm gonna butcher this, les 400 coups. If my brother were here, he'd be able to read this crap. Not to say the French are crap, but I'm just sorry. I'm quite tired, and it's not that the movie wasn't tiring. It's just the day before. Francois Truffaut's first feature also personal. Truffaut's cinematography, yeah. So 400 blows, 99 minutes, and rightfully so. Well, not rightfully so actually, but I'll get to that in a little bit. 400 blows. So it's about a boy named Antoine Doidel, who's kind of a misunderstood little boy. He goes to school and he gets into trouble, and then he comes home and his parents are really not much better. His wife, his mother is cheating on him, on his father. No, the boy and the mother aren't having a relationship. Uh, and then there's like this. He has a friend who he ditches school, and then he lies to the teacher about his mother being dead, and the father slaps the hell out of him right in front of his friends. And it's just that was some scare. That scared me. I was like, oh damn. I kind of felt I hated him at first. I mean, because he's like the troublemaker. Who the hell is this? Then you get to know the guy, and it's like, damn, you feel really bad. And then eventually the kid, is kicked out of his house, and he like lives with his friend, and eventually they end up like running out of money, and so they go steal a typewriter from his dad's work. And when they can't get any money for it, he tries to return it, and he gets caught, and he gets sent to jail or juvie or whatever. And his parents forget about him, and it's kind of just a wild ride, for the most part. And then at the end, he escapes pretty much because his parents want nothing to do with him. And so there you go. It's 400 blows, a little nice little synopsis of pretty interesting movie. One I quite liked actually. Specifics, favorite scene. Can't say I had a favorite scene. I think the best part about this movie was the cinematography. There were things that I saw that I really liked, such as there's a scene where Antoine rides on this one of those like gravitron kind of rides, and the camera is placed inside. It's like a really short like slow motion film of like everything that's happening but it's sped up to look like the camera's actually in the ride, going around and everything. It's like maybe it's like a still picture that's just spun around and around, above a shot of the ride. Like if here's the ride, here's the photo, and it's going around and around, because like I think if the camera were really in it, it would get damaged or it'd just be too complicated of a shot. So yeah, there's that. Apart from that, other good scenes. Of course, one of the most poignant scenes I think, and even Truffaut, Francois Truffaut, the director, even as I was watching the supplements, commented and said that one of the most important scenes and one of my favorites, and I thought that was really cool, was the scene where the psychologist is interviewing Antoine. Um, it's just like this really, it's a scene that of course is kind of very revealing. It really says a lot about why he's so quote unquote screwed up, and it says a lot about how Truffaut wanted Antoine to be portrayed and all that, and it really feels like Truffaut is speaking through him, even though apparently all the most of the dialogue is improvised. He gave him a bit of like warning as to when scene would come up, and he wanted it to feel fresh and all that, and yeah, so there's it's a really good scene. It feels like Antoine, the actor, Jean-Pierre Léaud, just feels very relaxed, and it feels like it might as well just be Truffaut at 12 or 12 and a half, or however old he is, talking to an interviewer, sitting and thinking very sly thoughts and all that, especially like when he asks, or when the psychologist asks him if he'd ever slept with a woman. He kind of that Cheshire cat smile kind of picks up. It's kind of cool. Apart from that, of course, there's the ending scene, which I felt at first I didn't quite get it, but then a couple of minutes later I put two and two together. There's like a minute-long scene of him just running, of Antoine just running, and the camera's following him as he's running. He's running and I'm like, God damn, they're making this kid run for 2 minutes straight. Where the hell is he going? I mean, I understand that he's trying to escape and all that, but it's just one long shot of him just running, and I thought, oh god, this is the end of the movie, because I'm looking, it's 37 minutes, 38, closer and closer to 39 minutes, or an hour and 39 minutes, rather. And then he just runs out to the ocean, and then he turns around, and then the camera just freezes. It zooms in on his face. And I was like, oh god, that's so French, good gravy. And then I remembered that, there's a scene where Antoine said that he wanted to go visit the ocean because he'd never been, so all kind of kicked in, and to be honest with you, I'm a huge fan of the ocean, and in fact, just last week I just had a revelation about the ocean, which I'm not prepared to share with you because this isn't like a diary or anything, but yeah, it was pretty epic, and I kind of regret making such a hasty decision about Antoine's decision to run out to the ocean, because it made perfect sense, because I did something similar last week. So how about that? Antoine and I are maybe one and the same, except I didn't really get in as much trouble as he did. In fact, I don't think I got in any barely trouble. I didn't set my house on fire with a shroud, what's that guy's name? A shroud Balzac. Eureka, I have it, or I found it. Other things I liked. I'm trying to think of other things that I thought were really good about the movie. The characters were all really well fleshed out. I felt like everybody got enough screen time so that you could figure out everybody. It's like everybody had something that held them, such as whether it be the teacher, or his friend, or the parents. I felt the parents just made perfect sense. They were whether they were fighting or they were together. It's just, when they talked to Antoine separately, you felt a lot of you got more of them. You got the most of them from their separate discussions with Antoine versus when all three of them were in the room, or when they were fighting together. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you as far as the movie goes. I give it A minus. Give it A minus. No, I give it an A. Actually, it's an A. A movie. A for effort. Yeah, I said it. So yeah, that's all I can say. It was a good movie. It was well thought out. Ending a little kind of vague. Kind of it reminds me of the Who's Quadrophenia. Just what ends with Jimmy going out to the boat, going out on the boat, and just landing on that island, and just trying to, it's like that's it. He's just trapped on the island for for whenever. And ironic I mentioned that album, considering Quadrophenia is one of the Criterion collection, but we won't be getting to that one for a long time. Good gravy. But yeah, A. So let's talk about the special features. They call them special features here, but they should be called supplements. They usually are. But this is an older pressing. This pressing is from 2003. Yeah, this is the second version. The first version didn't have the short film Antoine and Colette, which I thought was really interesting. It's just the first thing you see is a short film that Truffaut contributed to this like short film festival, Love at 20 or something, and it's like just basically a bunch of different love affairs and people finding love, and Truffaut continues with Doinel, Antoine Doinel. They call him Doidel, I think. Doinel. I'll just call him Antoine. That's easiest. Yeah, so Antoine is back. He's 17 now. He's got his own place, and he's working at a record company, making records and all that. Or actually, I think he packages them, and he makes one for this girl. But yeah, he's still with his friend, and they actually have a little flashback to the 400 Blows where Antoine and his friend, I think Renee is his name, they are smoking in his friend's house and playing like backgammon, and then he has to hide as his father comes home, and the father chides Renee and says he's going to take the cigar money out of his allowance and all that. Yeah, so anyway, they go to concerts often, and one concert he meets this girl who he can't take his eyes off throughout the whole concert, and he falls in love with her, but she doesn't feel the same way. They're just friends, and yet he can't hide this any longer, and so it's just kind of like it builds up to a point where he can't contain himself, and he ends up kissing her, and she doesn't want him, and he finds out the hard way through, after being invited over to dine with her parents, that she has a boyfriend and all that. And yeah, so it just kind of ends, with him kind of losing out, and it's a little bit tragic, but it's an interesting, continuation of the story, and it's definitely a worthwhile supplement. So kudos Criterion for putting something that actually is interesting on your DVDs versus white people talking about movies or hour-long interviews with Italian people. So the other things that are the other special features. Let's see. Rare audition footage of Jean-Pierre Léaud, Patrick Alfie, and Richard Canayan. Yeah, this is just like audition tapes that were really cool to see. The actors, playing themselves, especially Richard Canayan, I think, who's the last kid who's got like a total like the French like singing voice, and he sings like When the Saints, like a jazz rock kind of guy. It was pretty fun. It was really, really nice little stuff. And let's see, newsreel footage of Jean-Pierre Léaud in Cannes for the showing of the 400 Blows. Yeah, this is him a little older, and he's in Cannes, and they interview him, and they talk about some of the scenes, and it's really cool because he's like one of the youngest. He's I think the youngest actor who was there, and they had a lot of photos and stuff like that. It's really cool. Excerpts from a French TV program with Truffaut discussing his youth, critical writings, and the origin of Antoine Doinel in the 400 Blows, and Antoine and Colette. Yeah. So this is just like a 20 to 23 minute film, or just an excerpt, I guess. 22 to 23 minutes of just interviews with Truffaut talking about his youth, yeah, and critical writings and the blah blah blah. Yeah, and there's also I think interviews with the actor who played his father, or his stepfather rather. And yeah, so that's the thing I should have mentioned earlier. The father is actually his stepfather, and he didn't know this until after a couple of years after he was born, or sometime after. So that kind of hit him too. Yeah, and so that was really interesting to hear, like things that Truffaut had wanted from the movie. I thought that was really cool. Television interview with Truffaut about the global financial reception of 400 Blows and his own critical impression of film. Yeah, this was after he had come back from the U.S. and the U.S. gave him all this praise, and so he was really this movie was really important to him, and it is important. And so yeah, so that's the special features. A lot of good stuff here. A good package, and definitely one that I will look into buying, considering this isn't mine. 400 Blows. Yep, it's the movie. It's the French movie to end all movies, and definitely not the last. Definitely not the last French movie. Oh, and that's Douanel Antoine. I guess the original version has like a bigger picture of him, like like bigger and all that. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. 5 down. 550,000 more to go. So yeah, that's 400 Blows, a movie. And next on the list is Beauty and the Beast, number 6, Beauty and the Beast. When? Probably next week. Sometime next week we'll do Beauty and the Beast. I've got a lot on my plate right now, and I probably won't get to it till probably a week from now. So next Thursday or next Friday probably is when we'll get to that one. Maybe even later, probably later than that actually. It may be next Saturday. Who knows? But any case, you will no doubt get something out of it. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Anyway, Criterion out. That should be my new catchphrase. Criterion out. I'm Nate Jackson, and for everyone at CriterionCollection.com/Nate Jackson or whatever, and on behalf of myself and Antoine Doinel and Trafont, I forget his last. Francois Trafont. We'll see you later.